Welcome everybody back to the Heart of Hollywood magazine. It is me, Rico no Suave. I gotta introduce this beautiful young lady that's here with us today. And what I tell you, she is beautiful, everyone. She has been hitting the scene. She's been on Emmy magazine. I have seen her scissor reel. You could talk about drama. You could talk about suspense. You could talk about if she really wanted to cry and make you cry as far as with her. I want you guys to stand up. Ladies, flip your hair. Gentlemen, put your hand to your heart and show us some love. Her name is Jacqueline Murphy. Let me bring her in, everybody. Let me bring her in. Hold on. Let me see if I got her. Boom! Let's go.
Boom. Hey, everybody. So great to see you, Rico. And I want to thank all the friends and fans and family that are joining today. We wouldn't be doing what we were doing if there weren't people that were watching. I'm thrilled to be here. I love the name of your show, Rico no Suave, Heart of Hollywood,
Yes.
because at the end of the day, I think everything you do should have heart in it, because that's what reaches people. There's a producer, Cesar, who worked on Pepitos America. He just tuned in, my sister Lynn, and Carl, a friend who wrote a marvelous book about, he found out at a late age that his father was in the Genovese clan and wrote a book on that. Robert Frank Tefler, all the great actors are joining us. So thank you, everybody, and keep on coming.
That's
Rico.
right. That's right. Let's get it on, baby.
Oh, she's an amazing interviewer and fashion stylist and a beautiful friend. Thank you all for being here. Okay, Rico, so let's give them something fun.
Of course, let's get it on, everybody. Let's get it on, because I'm super happy about it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And don't forget to share this video, everybody. Make sure you go ahead and share this to the world, because you already know Jacqueline Murphy is on with Rico no Suave. Yes, we are ready to go. You know what? Sometimes people wake up and they're like, what do I want to be in my future? Some people want to be actors, right? Some people want to be models. Some people just want to be beautiful on a camera. And I want to say you're all of that. Beautiful on the camera.
Oh,
tell us in regards to, why did you decide to become an actor?
I knew from an early age that's what I wanted to be. I would watch these old-time classic Hollywood movies with my mom, and then drag my sister Lynn and Cindy and brother Joe and sister Kim in the backyard and start reenacting these parts. And so I knew from a very young age. But to my mom's credit, she wanted me to have something to fall back on. And so I had gotten my nursing degree. I have an RN degree, and it helped pay for acting school. And I had an angel on my shoulder because I broke into the soap operas playing a nurse.
Yes.
I was Nurse Thomas on All My Children, and I had scenes opposite Susan Lucci and all the great soap opera stars, and moved on to Loving, Ryan's Hope, Guiding Light. And back in the 90s, the soaps were so glamorous. And then from there, I moved on to the Law and Daughters and movies. And in 2017, I started creating my own material. So beauty is inside and out. And my whole message is to empower people to see what they can do and create to make their dream come true. And I see that. My niece Christy just tuned in. Hey.
Hi, niece Christy. Hi. Yes. Because I don't want to give the audience everything right away. The cool thing about you, Jacqueline, is that you started at a certain age. What age was that you started? Your mom actually started getting you into acting?
She just would laugh and encourage me to play. At 3, I was watching Mae West with my grandfather, and I started doing an accent when I wasn't getting attention. So he was like the apple of my eye, and I would walk over and say to him, "Hello, big boy. Why don't you come up and see me sometime?" And everybody cracked up. So I was encouraged. And of course, being the eldest of 5 kids, we all played and reenacted plays. And I feel blessed because I'm actually doing that in my real life with Carlos Marino Jr., the creator of Pepitos America, and Cesar, the producer. And you meet so many great people in this industry. And I'm blessed that I met you, Rico.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate the love. But when it comes to acting, my love, you threw back because I remember that clip where you say, "Come and see me sometime," and I was like, "Okay," I'm like, "You had me at come and see me sometime. You had me there." And one of the things about acting, though, it's a lot of hard work. It's not, and I'm so glad that it's almost how they say, "Don't forget to keep your daytime job." And I'm glad that you're actually a nurse because I'm in IT for a hospital. And I understand what it's all about when it comes to you being a nurse and caring and understanding what that job is in order to be able to help save people. But it also helps with saving people with your acting, right? Whatever that you're playing, whatever role that you are, if you're inspirational. And I think I really love that those two dots connect together. Now, when it comes to acting itself, do you remember your first gig that you actually, that you actually played for? Was it in theater? Was it action movie? What was your first gig like?
I was living in New York and I was cast in as the co-check girl in Sotheby's Art auction house. And Ivan Reitman, the director of Ghostbusters, came over to me and he said, "Young lady, I would like you to have a part opposite Robert Redford." And it was my first speaking part. And thought, oh my God. And so I thought, what am I going to say to him? And I remember I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts on Madison and 31st in New York City. And when you walk in the lobby, Rico, they have all these headshots of Kate Jackson and Robert Redford. So I had a handle and I said, okay, I know what I'm going to say. I'm an alumni of the American Academy of Dramatic Arts like you. And I said it to him and he just smiled and he was so charming.
Oh.
And I remember going home on my lunch hour because I literally lived a block away. It was on 72nd in New York. And I ran home and I called my grandmother and my mom and I said, "You're never going to believe this. My first speaking part was opposite Robert Redford in Legal Eagles."
Wow.
And then the next part, Leonard Nimoy from Star Trek was directing 3 Men and a Baby.
Oh.
And he cast me to be the stewardess opposite Tom Selleck, Steve Guttenberg, and oh gosh, one other actor, but they were like the Ted Danson. And I was like, oh my God. Fast forward, I was working on Goodfellas and Marty Scorsese was the director. And he knew that I was a nurse because it's a long story, but he said, "Young lady, I'd like for you to have a part opposite Robert Redford, Julie Garfield, Lorraine Bracco, and Ray Liotta. You're going to bring the baby into them." And the day of the shoot, De Niro walks over to me and he said, puts his hand out and he said, "Hi, I'm Bobby De Niro." And I smiled and I said, "Yeah, I know who you are." Living in New York was an amazing experience. I got to give a shout out to my girl, Raquel Lafayette. She just tuned in, and Deborah, Carl's wife. Raquel, when it came to Pepitos America, and even you, she told me, "You got to do your countdown. You got to get the audience in there. You got to lift up that show." And Raquel is a very special actress. Hey, Raquel.
That's awesome. So I commend you, but here's what happens when it comes to connecting the dots. I keep using the nurse aspects of things because nurses knows how to touch patients. They know how they understand the personality. They understand what the depression, right? They understand the happiness. They understand the different phases of how to be able to connect. As an actress, I think, or as an actor yourself, you were destined for the connection between Robert Redford. I think having Robert Redford, that was the bomb. I ain't gonna lie. Having him just under your portfolio open up more doors for people to know more about you. We always say that when you're electrifying and you're like, hey, you have the spark, other people just come to you. just automatic. And I think that was such a blessing to be able to have, to be able to know that you have Tom Selleck, come on, man. Yeah, Ted Danson, forget about it. You have a lot of great other actors, and De Niro, Robert De Niro, what? It was such a blessing to be able to make sure that you were in the light of understanding that. Now, when it comes to talking, because of course we only got 30 minutes, I'd love to have you on for an hour. When it comes to you playing different roles, because as an actor or an actress yourself, is there a specific role that you just like, man, I can nail this any movie that they put me in? Or is it like, hey, I like to play this role, I like to play this role, I like to play this role? What is Jacqueline Murphy about when coming to play different roles?
The nurse doctor role, obviously, I lived it. I don't practice as a nurse anymore, but I keep my license always up. You never know when you might need to help somebody. But that I have down to the point where I felt so acknowledged and blessed in the movie The Paper. I had a scene with Michael Keaton and Marisa Tomei, and I was in the OR and I said to the director, Ron Howard, Ron, what didn't I say when I put the betadine on her stomach? This is going to be cold. And he goes, yeah, that's good. That's good. We go to lunch. We come back. He looks at me, Rico. He said, Jacqueline, for this scene, say anything you want. The authenticity and the respect and the acknowledgement that he knew that whatever I said was going to be appropriate and authentic. That was like it was like getting an award. It really was.
Yeah.
So with Carlos Marino Jr., the creator of Pepitas America, he's a bit of a genius in my estimation. He's very talented. And we had met on the red carpet. He was one of the actors in Coco, the Oscar-winning Disney film. And he was doing a GoFundMe because he believed in his project, as Cesar Arredondo did, the producer that's on right now. And he said, I have a role for you. Councilwoman Miriam Price running for mayor of LA. So I said, okay, great. So I go into the set in LA. It's at Avenida Studio, which is a Latinx studio. It's very cool. This Nelson and Fanny Grande built it. Great set. It was like working on the soaps back in the day. They had a courtroom, a grocery store, a church. And Cesar greeted me and he was like, can I get you coffee? Very professionally done. And I walked away that day thinking, wow, Carlos is a great director and writer. Cesar's a wonderful producer. The cast was fabulous. I'd love to work with them again. So Carlos created this commercial for me running for mayor of LA using clips from the internet of me. And I wasn't even on set. And I was so impressed with his creativity. So fast forward, you were talking about how people pick up your vibe. I was having dinner with my good friend, Tommy and Shelby Chong, and I mentioned Pepitas America, Carlos's project, and I said, would you consider coming on the show as my big time financial donors and doing a scene with Carlos and I? And they said yes. So that was a blessing, and it got the buzz going. And we did enough episodes to submit it to the Television Academy to get on the ballot for Emmy nomination, which was a dream for all involved, Cesar, Carlos, Raquel, the whole cast. And we took it to the limit, to the point where we have this ad in Emmy magazine. Pepitas and Mamadas is Carlos and myself here and the rest of the cast. Fast forward, Raquel Lafayette and Carlos and I, we had an article in the next issue because they recognized at the Television Academy, we're like the little engine
that could.
So I love just elevating projects, empowering other people around me, and it comes back to you tenfold. So other roles I'd love to play. I just auditioned today for a horror film, and I was watching The Witcher, and it was in the vein of that. And my husband did the self-tape, and he goes, oh my God, you were scary. I love to challenge myself. Every audition I get, Rico, is a workout. I wish I had the range of Meryl Streep, and I love actresses like Jessica Chastain, and
Yeah.
I was watching Margot Robbie in Barbie last night.
Okay. Okay.
And what I loved about Barbie was it was embracing of everyone,
Yeah.
of all races. And
Yeah.
I also love that there was a Latino storyline. America Ferrara was in there. And that's why I just feel so lucky to be working with Carlos and Cesar and the people on Pepitos, because I think he hit on a vein of a story that needs to be told.
Okay.
And so I throw a sorceress role at me.
Nice.
I'm taking my award-winning film, The Admired. It's about this actress who makes a Faustian deal with the devil to go back to old Hollywood as a big movie star.
Yes.
And she had to rely on the devil. But now I want her to have a genetic power that she didn't know, that she is truly the sorceress and can make it happen. So that's my wish for everybody out there. If you wish to see us have something happen, and
I'm loving it. I'm
yeah.
loving it, love. We definitely got to go to the comments, love, because I'm telling you, we can talk for hours. And one of the biggest things that I do want to say, of course, it's because my name is Rico No Suave. I'm sure Cesar and Carlos, those guys will be laughing at me because Rico No Suave, and they know who Rico Suave is, and there's a Rico No Suave. But one of the things that you did hit up on that I really love before we go to the comments and people that's actually tuning in, you talk about diversity. The one thing that's really cool that I love about diversity is every culture comes together to understand that, hey, we all have a talent that we can put together. One thing that I did see where there was segregation when it comes to music and music itself, and of course, I'm a salsero. I love to dance salsa and merengue, bachata, but then it's cool to be able to see a band to be able to come where there is different cultures that actually comes together just to play in a band and make music, but it makes the package even bigger when you have producers that's in film, and you have like different nationalities that's behind the scenes to be able to make this one movie so successful. It's a beautiful thing. It's something where it's just not one culture actually producing a movie or a band that's producing a song. It's all together. And then when you finally have the diversity, it makes us humble, right? It makes us humble. It makes us feel like, I'm so glad that we did this. Hey, we can go for some tacos right now, or we can go and eat some ribs if you want to, or we can just go and eat something Mediterranean. It can build us all together as one. And that's what I really love about what you said when it came to diversity. But it's time to get to the comments, because everybody, we only have a few minutes of fame left. But I will say, Raquel Lafayette, thank you so much for tuning in. She said it was great working with you on Pepitos America. We all became family. Thank you so much. Cesar Arredondo, he said, yes, diversity is beautiful. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. My man, Robert Frank Telfer, actually says, Carlos, congratulations on being such a great commentator. You let the guests talk. And Jacqueline, you were terrific tonight. Thank you for the invite. Thank you for tuning in, sir. Cindy Heller, yes. Christy Cameron, is that how you say her last name?
Cameron. Yeah.
Yes, I'm saying it in Spanish.
My sister, yeah, and Lynn Stella, yeah, my girl.
James Dunn is checking in. He gave us a thumbs up. He gave us the keep the muscles going. Okay, thank you so much, Papa. Thank you so much. And everybody else that's tuning in, thank you guys so much. You guys are also
also, yeah.
I'm loving it. This vibe, and see this vibe, what we have right now, and people that's not commenting, they're feeling this vibe at home. And we're probably saving people's lives right now. Because you know why? It's because everybody that's on here is showing nothing but great love. We only got 8 minutes of fame left.
Can I give a shout out to Carl and his wife? Carl,
of course.
I'm very excited about his new book and his life story. He was a dentist who was on Survivor, who wrote the book about his father. Do me a favor, put the name of your book in the chat so I could tell everybody about it. But I was thinking, wouldn't it be great to do a little web series and on his family and where he came from and how he went from dentist to being an actor on Survivor, and then writing this book about his family. People have so many hidden talents and they just don't know. Oh, yes, the name of the book is My Rise from the Wise. It's a great title. It's very tongue-in-cheek because it rhymes, but he sent me a copy of the book and I can't wait to read it. I did read the first chapter and he grabs you immediately. So, you know, there's so many amazing projects out there that, you know, you can get involved in, but you have to be open to being on a show like yours, Rico, or be aware of Heart of Hollywood and keep, even though we're on strike, there are so many things you could be doing. So
it's the same concept of COVID. When we were on strike of COVID, we were on strike because of health. And I have to tell you, we were all in the house trying to figure out what was our next step, because once the doors opened, floodgates was going to open, and now look at where we're at. So being on strike, yes, this is, even though it's on strike, and hopefully this gets resolved, and I hope that everybody gets back to where we need to, but I do love the name of that book. But we got to get back to you, love. We got to get back to you because I'm only 6 minutes of fame left. And Jacqueline Murphy, we got to get to, we have to understand you as an actress. What was the struggles that you went through as an actress that can actually inspire other people to learn from? As you, because sometimes it's hard. I always say for authors, you have writer's block. Did you ever have a memory block issue of remembering your scripts?
I usually, thank God, my memory is pretty good, but sometimes the bigger the role and the more pages, for example, I had an audition for one of the soap operas and it was 5 pages of dialogue. The 1.5 page today, no problem, boom. But not only did I have 5 pages of dialogue, it was really technical. A doctor's dialogue who's a specialty in audiology. So you can just imagine your mouth getting around half of those words. But I feel like I struggled early on because I had bigger dreams of what I wanted. And it wasn't really until 2017 when I wrote The Admired and I had the confidence to produce, write, direct, and star in it, that I started to feel more empowered. Like, you can really do that. And then with Carlos, if someone shows the talent, he gave me credit to produce because I brought in name talent, locations. I directed an episode. I wrote an episode. You keep expanding. So I would say to everybody out there, keep doing everything. You keep honing your skills. And having been a nurse, I have a lot of empathy, and I didn't get major success overnight. I don't have what I would call a major success now. To me, if I would love to be in a Barbie movie or a Marvel superhuman movie, superpower, that kind of thing. But I also, you have to appreciate where you are. I always see the glasses half full, because if you start and being grateful and what I do have, like this interview, I'm so excited about, I'll make the most of it. Everything I do. And because one thing builds on the other and people get to know you and what you're all about. And I picked the title The Admired because it was based on actresses I admired. And I gave myself the chance to play that Veronica Lake character. And Kathleen Demanchi, my girlfriend, asked, am I going to make it into a feature or a TV series? And yeah, I have my feature ready to go. I have a TV series ready to go. I was so impressed with Carl and his story. I started thinking, I got to read the book and then I got to talk to him about doing a web series. But I really believe in Carlos. Marino Jr. and Pepito's America and the whole cast. It's that it was such a team effort, and I'd love to see season 2, and I'd love to see it on Netflix or on one of the streamers. But I'm glad that I expanded my talents and that I feel comfortable writing and directing and producing, so that it feels like I can look in those areas as well. I don't have to wait for an audition to come in. And I admire hosts like you because asking questions that make it fun and interesting for viewers. And have energy. You have to have a certain kind of light and energy to captivate an audience, which you do.
Woohoo! I tell you, it's boom, baby. We actually had a great interview, man. Down to almost 1 minute of fame still here with Jacqueline Murphy, everybody, the beautiful actress, producer, writer, all of that great stuff. And you are admired. You're admired by many. We want to tell you that. You're admired by many, and it shows. It shows here in the comments as well, too. Jacqueline, one thing I would say before, of course, we end this great episode is that I want the world to know more of you. And we're going to make sure that we share this. And thank you, everybody. Pepitos America, thank you guys so much for actually tuning in. But Jacqueline, you are a gem of the world. We call you gems, right? Because you have such a talent that brightness that you have is illuminating. It brings people together. It makes people want to see you from far away and say, let me walk over to the light and see exactly who that is. You are that person. You are that person, because not everybody can get the seat that you're in with, not interviewing, but at least working with, I keep saying Redford, I said Robert De Niro, and we had Tom Selleck. We have people it's hard for them to be able to get that. But if you have that bright, shining light, everything will be all right. That's what
like Rihanna says, shine like a diamond. And, yeah. So I hope that I can lift people up and go on great journeys with everybody I come in contact with, and just creating projects that are worthy to shine and make a difference for people. Yeah.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Yes, thank you, everybody, for being here. Of course, I want you guys to put your hands together. Jacqueline, yes, stand by, but I got to end off the show because Hollywood, you know how they are. They on timetables, baby. But thank you so much for being on the show. And everybody, thank you guys so much for actually being on the show. Put your hands together for none other than my girl, Jacqueline Murphy. Yeah, baby.
Oh, thank you for being here, everybody. It really means the world to me. Have a great night.
All right, stand by, love. All right. That was my girl, everybody. That was Jacqueline Murphy. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself today. I hope you guys enjoyed, because it's all about that great vibe. And yes, everybody, yes, we're going to the red carpet and want you to be there as far as what's también, mi gente. And thank you so much. Shine bright like a diamond is what Jacqueline Murphy is all about. Gem of the world here on the Heart of Hollywood magazine.